Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay.
And the lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember.
Okay.
There's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me.
Right. Just kind of go with the flow.
Just call on me. Just call on me.
Wow. So kind of looking back at my notes, Alonso's the only one that has a lot of experience here with an average finish of 3.4. He's averaged top 3. Copy.
gentlemen, welcome to a thrilling night of virtual racing action here on iRacing. I'm Dave Regal alongside my fresh out-of-the-box partner, Matt Moniak, and of course we are here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We're excited to bring you all the live coverage from the legendary Nashville Superspeedway. Tonight, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series promises to be a showcase of skill, strategy, and sheer speed as some of the best sim racers from around the world go head-to-head in this highly competitive environment. iRacing is where the virtual meets the real, offering an incredibly immersive experience that mirrors the intensity and precision of actual motorsports. The drivers have put in countless hours of practice, perfecting every turn and mastering the art of digital racing. The track is digitally rendered to perfection, capturing every bump, curve, and straightaway, setting the stage for what promises to be an electrifying race. We'll be bringing you all the action from start to finish, including expert analysis, driver interviews, and in-depth commentary on the strategies at play. From daring overtakes to split-second decisions, every moment counts, and we'll be here to guide you through it all, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you with us tonight. Qualifying is underway, and here we are on another Monday night in the Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. Dave Regal and Matt Moniak with you. Matt, welcome into the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, as folks, he is on his maiden voyage here in the SRM booth.
Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to starting this journey up and seeing the progress that we make.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as we get rocking and rolling tonight. I mean, you know, all things considered, man, there's not a whole lot of pressure on us up here in the broadcast booth. All of that pressure is down on the racetrack with these drivers. Right now, during qualifying, 108 degrees on the concrete. I mean, that is blistering.
They're really going to have to watch those right front tires, I think, tonight. You know, they're going to develop a push, and hopefully they can keep out of trouble.
Without a doubt. So, of course, we have 188 laps the scheduled distance tonight. But before we get to tonight's race, let's talk a little bit about last week. Of course, Parker Retzlaff has now gone back-to-back here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And quite frankly, I am excited to see what he does tonight, as he has already gone fast time at 30.33 seconds in qualifying. Mikey Mac McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey, out here getting himself all wound up. This will probably be one of the few qualifying efforts we get a chance to watch, as he usually waits just a little bit. And as McConville runs down the back chute here in the one machine, we're going to see just what he's made of as he rolls a little bit high through turns 3 and 4. He's just trying to get some heat in these tires in the produce place in Delhi Chevrolet Camaro. Now as he comes back to the start-finish line, he takes the apron and slings it out here on the front stretch. He goes 32nd fastest on lap number 1. I'm expecting big things out of Mikey Mac. I know that, you know, he and I have developed quite a relationship here on Sim Racing Media and on iRacing, and watching this guy get it done, Matt, is incredible.
Yeah, I'm sitting in his in-car right now, and he's really able to hold that steering wheel nice and straight through these corners, not really losing any speed.
Mikey Mac comes across the start-finish line and goes from 32nd to P2 right alongside teammate Parker Retzlaff. So obviously going to be a big night here for the JAR-TCR stable, and it always is a big night for them here in this league. And speaking of this league, let's take a look here at our point standings while we have the time. A lot of movement here over the last week. Brandon Minto, our points leader, he sits atop the pile right now. And, you know, watching Brandon get things done all season long has been incredible. Norman, Oklahoma has a lot to cheer for in Brandon Minto. Mike McConville, speaking of him, he has now climbed up into P2 in our point standings. He's 64 points behind Minto. And, you know, we're going to get a little bit deeper into the stats later tonight, but Mikey Mac is coming like a freight train for Brandon Minto. Eugenio Alonso drops down into third. Sylvain Jolie, he stays the same in fourth, while we have a new driver in the top 5, and Nick Hansen has mbopped his way up here into 5th position on our point standing. So things, as we get moving around, are getting more and more interesting. Trent Curtis, of course, from JAR-TCR, He is the TCR portion of that. He moves up 7 positions, as well as Daniel Moynihan and Parker Retzlaff. So some of these drivers with good, consistent finishes here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series are starting to make some hay here as we hit the summer months, Matt.
As we're nearing the start of the chase here, when we look at the bubble, who do you think is actually going to be on the outside looking in, and who's going to be looking out?
Well, when it comes to the chase in this particular league, and I mean, I know that we don't have a whole lot of time as we're looking toward the end of September for that. The top 12 drivers, now you have to remember, if you've got to win and you're in the top 30, there's all kinds of, provisos in there for that. And as we look here, I would say that there's a couple of drivers right now. Zach Osborne, he's a strong driver. We're going to see him make a lot of progress yet. Chris Claude has now fallen down into 16th position. We may not see him make that top 12 when the chase begins. I really think that we're going to see Zach Osborne make it in. I think we're going to see Trent Curtis make it in, as well as Parker Retzlaff, which really pushes out, Claude Ferlin and Anthony Savignano. Alexander Gangler, he is literally, scooting here by the skin of his teeth. He needs a good run over the next few weeks to keep himself in that playoff conversation.
I definitely look forward to seeing these battles develop on the track and off the track as we go week to week.
Well, right now we're going to have a chance here to talk to a couple of these drivers. Of course, we're going to take a quick peek here at our qualifying results. With some of these drivers, of course, Parker Retzlaff goes fast time here at 30.33. He's already got 2 wins in his back pocket over the last couple of weeks, so we're going to get a chance to talk to he and Mike McConville. We're going to start first, though, with my buddy from South Jersey, Mikey Mack. Yo, Mikey, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me.
Hey, Dave. How we doing today, buddy?
Buddy, listen, I'm excited. I mean, listen, you've got a teammate who went back-to-back the last 2 weeks, and you sit P2 right now in our point standings, and all of a sudden you are coming like a homing missile for Brandon Minto in the point standings.
Oh, Brandon better be looking over his shoulder. He ain't locking up the season championship just yet. We're going to get him.
Look, you've got a long time left in the regular season, and you guys from JRTCR have been raising the bar week after week. Who do you give the credit to that, and how do you guys explain the success of this team?
Honestly, it's everyone. Everyone does their part, no matter how big, how small. Parker came on. He's given us a little bit of tips. Brockton has really come on and helped me a lot, helping with the setups. He and I bounce ideas back and forth. So we don't just have one setup each week. We have multiple setups each week that we all feel really good in, depending on track temp and how hot it is. So, I mean, it's the whole team effort.
Well, man, listen, that's how you get things done here, especially in this league. I mean, right now, even during the warm-up, I'm watching some of these drivers. Sam Bolin just lays down a 30.86. I mean, the speeds are going to be crazy tonight. What's the car feel like, as you get ready to roll tonight?
It's pretty good. We're definitely going to need some adjustments because the track is going to change a lot depending on if the clouds stick around or if the sun comes blaring out and gets the track real hot. This track is, even though it's made of concrete, it's super sensitive to temperature. So no matter which way it goes, big adjustments will be made.
Yeah, this track has the tendency to do the same thing as your home track, Dover, where, a little bit of sunlight can do a lot to that concrete. I've seen it down there. You've seen it down there. It can get real crazy. But listen, man, good luck tonight. You're going to roll off P2 here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action.
Appreciate you, brother. Hopefully we can upset Parker and bring her home in victory lane tonight.
Uh-oh, shots fired within the team. Good luck, bro.
Appreciate it.
That, of course, the voice of the great Mikey Mack, driver the number 1. And, Matt, I mean, here we are. This is your first time out with some of these drivers, and a lot of these guys, put a lot of time in here for these cars. And, I cannot stress enough how good they are.
Yeah, running down through the list and looking at these lap times, and they're being consistent. That's the biggest thing. You're not really seeing any crashes on the speedway end right now. This is going to be one heck of a race.
One heck of a race is for sure. Sam Bolin right now fastest in the warm-up segment. We've got about 1 minute and 10 left in that, so let's see if we can quick get ahead go ahead here and get a hold of Daniel Moynihan, driver the number 53. Hey, Dan, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, listen, you've got that Duncan Midnight running through your veins tonight. You've got yourself a strong machine. You've all of a sudden decided to start really moving up here in the point standings. What's going to be the strategy tonight at Nashville Superspeedway?
Main strategy for at least the first stage, maybe stage and a half, is just to keep the car under me and maintain position. I'd be lying if I said I don't got Parker's number tonight. That's truly what I'm going for tonight after last week in New Hampshire. I'm excited. I feel confident going into this race. But yeah, that's my strategy at the moment. Obviously, that might change during the race, but I got the base.
Hey, man, I get it. Look, you've got 3 top 10s on the season, 2 top 5s. You're building quite a resume that's going to, start to propel you through the standings. Right now, and I realize that, you're only 31st in points right now. But, you hopped up 7 last week after another strong finish. A little bit more consistency, and you're going to be up there battling it out for playoff contention. So good luck the rest of the way, my friend, and get ready to rock and roll, crawl in the window net.
Yes, sir.
That the voice of Daniel Moynihan, who's running on Duncan Dark out of Boston, Massachusetts. We're always glad to talk to him. Let's get a chance here to run through our starting lineup as we pull up that driver info, that beautiful bean footage we talk about every week right here. As Parker Retzlaff going to be sitting on the pole position, driving, of course, the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet. Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey, he's going to be rolling off P2 with Daniel Moynihan rolling off on row 2 with Dennis Mickelson. Mickelson, of course, their Einlander, he runs in P4. Nick Hansen and Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, going to be starting in row number 3, while row 4 featuring Michelle Pallardi, wow, I will not get that one anytime soon, with Cody McCorkle out of Stanley, North Carolina, starting P8. Row 5 featuring Sylvain Joly from Saint-Eustache, Quebec, and Claude Furland, his another neighbor from the north, rounding out your starting top 10. Aaron Mack and Gabriel Lafreniere, one of our other neighbors from the north from St. Jude, he rolls off in row 6, while row 7 is going to have Sumter, South Carolina's Ron Fitting and Mason Hoffner from Harding, Pennsylvania. Ethan Ball and Eugenio Alonso from Buenos Aires, they will be in row number 8. We'll get to Eugenio shortly, while Will Young and Sam Bolin going to start in row 9. Row 10 is Kavaja Holt and Brockton Packard from Zephyrilus, Florida, with Keith Black and Alex Princeton in row 11. Row 12 going to feature, wow, and all of a sudden they are all hopping around here, Eric Papineau and Chris Custer in his traditional Coca-Cola machine, as he gave me a fit last night. I couldn't get through my broadcast without giggling. Chris Claude and John Crow Sr. going to be in row 13 with Josh Martins and Richard Pruitt in row 14. Row 15 is Matt Mackin and Andrew Deemer with Timothy Cook and Ken Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania in row 16. Steve Herring and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He'll be in row number 17 with John Bawalda from Bel Air, Maryland / Willow Grove, PA. Going to be starting shotgun on the field. 35 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight. And, Matt, we are just getting ready to roll as the iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some Nashville hot chicken, a guitar, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Parker Retzlaff with a good jump over the field. He's going to be followed right in line by Mike McConville, his teammate.
My apologies.
Matt just came on back here. He must have ran to the bathroom for an early break here.
We do have one car off the pace towards the back. It's Corey Burkhead. As of right now, he's just looks like he's hanging back and waiting for things to come to him.
Yeah, it's Corey Burkett there in the 07. It looks like he started from pit road, as well as John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. You know, you're going to find out here, Matt, that I have a weird contingency from Pennsylvania. Of course, I'm here just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And for some reason, this league attracts people from South Jersey like Mike McConville and all over Pennsylvania for reasons I'm not quite sure of, but I'm happy about it. I have to find out where Harding, Pennsylvania is. That's going to be my homework for the night. But right now, we're going to go on board here with Mike McConville as he and Daniel Moynihan, as he as Parker Reslaff are already gapping Daniel Moynihan by a half second. So as we go on board here, we're going to see just what Mikey Mack's got in this machine as he is trying to match Parker Retzlaff step for step here on lap number 4.
As we move through the field, everybody's falling more into a single line trying to save their draft, and we have trouble on the backstretch.
That's Aaron Mack in the 31. We stayed green flag racing as he got off and down into the grass. Let's take a quick look at the replay here from our blimp cam. We can see that he got loose right in front of Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06, and he just takes it down into the grass. Fortunately, he was facing the proper direction the whole time, so we stay green flag racing. We had last night here in the Cup Series just 2 cautions for cause out of 300 laps, and to me, that is just the side of incredible.
That really is impressive, especially at a track like Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, I mean, as we work through this race, we're going to see a lot of things change, especially track conditions, so on and so forth. We can see a little bit of cloud cover moving in right now. 6 laps in the books so far. We'll take a look at what's going to happen here with these cars. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 45. Stage 2 at the end of lap number 90. 4 total sets of tires for the event. So they've got 1 on the car now. They got 3 more laying in the pits. So these drivers are really going to have to take care of those tires because, in a situation like this, we're going to wind up seeing all kinds of chewed up rubber on pit road, and quite frankly, at 188 laps, over all of that time, I mean, you're looking at 47 laps just to make it, evenly on those tires.
Sitting here looking at some of these strategies these guys have, you see some guys running low, and then you see some are gravitating more towards that third lane. I'm curious on what's really going to pay off when we get 20 laps in.
Believe me, these drivers have all kinds of strategy figured out. You're going to see literally mad scientists going at it here in this league. And, quite frankly, I don't blame them one iota. As side by side we go here with Michael Pallardi, wow. Here in the 29, he's just about a quarter of a second behind Sam Bolin as they roll down the backstretch and into 3. And we can see just in front of him what Sam Bolin, Brockton Packard, and Kavaja Holt have going on. This little 3-car group battling it out for 15th position, trying to find their way through the racetrack early on here. We talked about some of that weather a minute ago. It was 105 degrees during qualifying and warm-up. It's now 102. Once you hit about 95 to 100 degrees, anywhere in that window, that is the witching hour for grip on these tires, these Goodyear Eagles that run so well here, on the concrete.
Right now, it seems that our biggest mover is John Crow Sr., so he may be one to watch. It seems like he has this track figured out in the early stages.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch through some of this, I mean, let's go ahead and try to find John Crow. He's up 9 positions right now as we move on back. I mean, he's got the 95 after starting in 28th up to 19th right now. And, I mean, all things considered, this man is a man on a mission. He had a strong night last night in the Cup Series. He's back for more here in the Xfinity Series, and I expect to see more out of him tomorrow night in the trucks as we go on board with him as he trails the 29 of Michael Pallardi. I know why I'm having trouble with it. That's supposed to be Tanner Marty. Usually on a Sunday night, Tanner Marty drives the 29, and here we are on a Monday night, and it's Michael Pallardi. So I will apologize for calling him Tanner Marty. It's even a similar paint scheme to what we saw last night. Last night he had a Celsius paint scheme, but here we are in the Chevrolet number 29, piloted by Michael Pallardi.
Oh, they're probably just keeping you on your toes.
How dare they? They know that I'm really only a C student.
Sam Boland's trying to work to the inside of Brockton Packard, trying to get a run on him. And he's going to fall right back into line.
right here to Sam Bolin. As we look through here, where on earth did he disappear to? I just saw his name. There he is. As he is suddenly side-by-side, watching the side-by-side action in front of him. That's Brockton Packard in the 63 and the 00 of Kavaja Holt. Now, a little history on Kavaja Holt. He has been in this league. He's one of the longest drivers in this league. Is now all of a sudden Kavaja looks to the inside of the 63. He's going to challenge him for 15th position. He lets out the throttle as they come into 1 and 2. And Kavaja is really trying to work the throttle through 3 and 4. And as they roll out back toward the front stretch, he doesn't have enough to get around Packard. So he may have to find another way to get around him. As all of a sudden, Sam Bolin all over the bumper now of Kavaja Holt. We go on board here with Bolin. And wow, Matt, what a challenge we're about to watch.
100%. Now the real question is are they going to push it, or are they going to just work with each other in the draft and, just try to ride for a little while?
Well, I've known Kavaja Holt, and I've raced alongside of him for literally years now. And Kavaja Holt is one who he will push it. And if you're going to challenge him like Sam is right here, you're going to have a lot to try to get around. I mean, Kavaja Holt should be absolutely running a clinic on defensive driving. We're going to see him take this Mobile 1 forward and try to make it 4 wide to hold off Sam Bolin, as all of a sudden Bolin brings it even with him, making me look like a clown, and now battles it out here for 16th position with Kavaja Holt. Kavaja Holt trying to hold on to it, rolling out of turn 4. What a fight we have all the way back here in 16th.
Bolin was able to complete the pass, and now Crow is trying to look to the outside of Holt.
Kavaja Holt is one of the drivers that you can use him up pretty quick. And unfortunately, he's got to make as much hay as he can early on in this race, because he will cook those tires before almost anybody else. We look further back here to Ken Rod in the 33. He's being passed by the 89 of Steve Herring, and I realize that we're talking about a battle here for 31st and 32nd. But Ken Ron, again, another driver in this league who has been around for a long time, and he is just battling it out right now with Steve Herring, as Herring here in the 89 almost makes it by. He doesn't do it this time, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Steve Herring holds on to 31st position, just ahead of Aaron Mack, who had that little kerfuffle earlier on in this race.
And it's still early in the race, but these guys are thinking about every single point that every position brings. So I'd expect this stretch to still be oncoming.
Claude Ferlin here in the 43, trying to work his way up to Nick Hansen. And as he works his way toward Hansen, we can see him slowly but surely closing that gap. Right now, Hansen leads him by about 0.3 of a second, but Claude's teammate, Sylvain Joly, closing in from behind. Once they can close that gap up just a little bit more, they can start to almost have a mini draft here at what, we call this a super speedway. And, Matt, I don't know how you feel, but this is not a super speedway.
It somewhat drives like one. The car wants to push through the turn, but at 1.33 miles, it just quite isn't a super speedway.
I think what drives me nuts, I mean, if you compare it to its little cousin across town at the Nashville Fairgrounds, yeah, this is a super speedway. But to me, a super speedway is 2.5 miles. It's a big oval, and once upon a time, they would have had to use restrictor plates there. None of those boxes are checked here at Nashville.
And a super speedway tends to have a lot more banking. I tend to lean towards. But here at Nashville, there's not that much.
No, Nashville's banking is not near as aggressive as what we see on a traditional super speedway. And, here's the thing. This racetrack has done very well over the last couple of years that it's been, back on the NASCAR circuit. And, I mean, even at what it runs right now, it's still pretty exciting. I mean, 14 degrees of banking here as I pull that up over there. 14 degrees of banking on the turns, 9 degrees on the front stretch, 6 degrees on the back. And, realistically, it's not that great, banking-wise. I expect to see something like 30-degree banking.
fully agree. If we take a look back, Steve Herring has just made the pass on John Wilco as they're still sorting things out for the 34th position.
We take a look back here where John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, running in the 62 machine. Put the phone away or pay. Of course, he's there advertising a brand new law here in Pennsylvania, which, you know, I don't know how you feel about it. Me, personally, I am a cell phone abuser while I drive. Back when I was a service technician on the road, I used to watch Hulu while driving. And, you know, quite frankly, I got to a point where I think I was watching the phone more than I was watching the road. So I get it, I do. But in Pennsylvania, it's no longer just no texting while driving, it's no phone while driving.
I can definitely understand where they're coming from, but I don't know if I can live without my YouTube music.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you have a new enough vehicle, one of which I do not, you know, it links directly to your in-car entertainment system, which, quite frankly, I never thought that we would get to a point where we would have, quote, in-car entertainment systems. You know, all of a sudden, don't get me wrong, back in the day, it was a binder of CDs that you were flipping through while you were sitting in traffic. Now it's a quick flick of the thumb on YouTube Music, and everything is, you know, copacetic.
Nothing can ever replace having to go through your binder of CDs and pick your favorite one just to listen to 2 tracks and then swap out that CD.
"25 laps in the books here at Nashville Superspeedway." You know, there's something special about the old, you know, mixed CDs. I mean, I can't tell you how many I made, threw away because, you know, the blank CDs were just that cheap. As Parker Retzlaff falling through the standings, he must be having a connection issue here in the 5. We'll have to watch and see what's going on. I'm not sure. Usually I've got a partner who's watching the weather for reasons I'm not quite sure of. Matt Metler is a complete psychopath when it comes to weather, so he could probably tell me wherever Parker is that there's some type of scary weather moving through. Speaking of scary, though, Brockton Packard starting to draw in here on Sam Bolin, less than 0.2 of a second between 14th and 15th position as we work lap number 26. You know, I don't know how old you are, Matt, but to me, the blank CD and you know, the 47 times that you burned a single song to a CD because it was one of your favorites and you just mixed in with some other stuff, I miss those days a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you can't really replace those days, you know. And as we were growing up, we had LimeWire and the viruses it would give to your PC. I'm glad we have stepped past LimeWire, but the CD part I really miss.
Yes, LimeWire is probably responsible for more PC deaths from, you know, about 2000 through 2010 than any other thing on Earth.
Right now we've got a battle for the 20th position with Alex Princeton.
Wow, they're an angry pack of Hornets here. Let's watch Eric Papineau trying to hold it off here now. Alex Princeton runs away from Papineau by about 0.3 of a second. But Papineau here leads Josh Mertens. Wow, Mertens just drops off just in front of Chris Custer out of Ohio. We don't know where in Ohio. His information just says Ohio, so it could be anywhere. It's not like Ohio's a small state by any standard.
It takes like 6 hours to drive across.
Well, so does Pennsylvania, so in 12 hours, you can get almost nowhere.
You know, you do have some beautiful views. The scenery is top-notch.
Well, speaking of the scenery being top-notch, if you tune into last... Whoa! Nearly making contact. They do rubbing here coming out of turns 3 and 4. All of a sudden, Richard Pruitt here in the 24 rubbed his way on by Chris Custer, and Chris Custer might have to lay on the old hook as he did last night in the Cup Series. That's what I've been leaning toward here. Last night, if you check out our Cup Series action on the YouTube feed, Chris Custer had a Hawk 24 paint scheme, and apparently he needs to spit on that thing to get around Richard Pruitt.
You know, if I'm sitting in Chris's spot right now, I'd really be worried about the contact with that right front up against the wall. You know, is that going to start wearing down a tire? Is it going to make the car harder to get through that turn?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. All of a sudden, driving right on past the 78 of Cody McCorkle is Claude Furland here in the 43. Now, all of a sudden, McCorkle having to check up just a little bit here in the Valvoline Chevrolet. This league, of course, as you can see, very Chevy heavy. If we take a look here on the left-hand side of your screen, just a couple of Toyotas sprinkled through the field, a couple of blue ovals. Almost everybody else has that gold bow tie on it from General Motors. And, you know, for whatever reason, it just seems like a thing year after year as contact between the 08 of Sylvain Joly and the 78 of Cody McCorkle down the back chute and into turn 3. It almost looks like Sylvain was ready to get out the chrome horn to crawl past McCorkle.
We take a look back at the front of the pack. We've got Parker trying to work through some lap traffic. He just made his way past Matt Mackin, and now he's going to be working on Corey Burkott.
Corey Burkett preparing himself to be a lap down. He'll be the second car a lap down as we are green flag racing here on lap number 33. We're about 12 to go in stage 1, and already Parker Retzlaff moving through the field with relative ease. And, you know, this is going to be his three-peat week as he comes in here to dominate in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And he has been an incredible addition here to this league. Of course, you know, he is a real-life race car driver, so he's got a lot more experience than most of us do here at Nashville Superspeedway, and he has just been a lot of fun to watch from up here in the booth.
Parker's now opened up almost a 3.5 second lead on his teammate Mike. They're still going to work here. Yep. As we go through the pack, the only battle we currently have is Ethan Ball and Gabriel fighting for 10th place.
Taking a look here at that battle for 10th, we can see Ethan Ball doing Ethan Ball things, as Alan Bergen would say, as he now looks to the inside of the 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere and the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro. And I'll tell you what, Gabriel Lafreniere has been a blast to watch all season long.
You know, with this run, at this stage of the race, it really seems like the bottom line is turning out to be more dominant. As we work our way into the second stage, I wonder if we're going to have that second lane really come into and be a factor. They're still side by side here. Nobody is really giving an inch. However, right ahead of them, now we have Cody and Sylvian still fighting side by side. You can almost throw a blanket over these 4 cars as we close in on the end of stage 1.
Yeah, 8 laps to go here at the end of stage 1. Parker Retzlaff, who finished 17th here in the real race on Saturday, now leads this piece here tonight with all of us mortals watching from beyond. Mike McConville still running in P2, but he's now being gapped by Parker by 4.04 seconds here. I mean, that's an even bigger gap than we saw last night in the Cup Series, and Parker is just running away with it for the time being. I mean, he had a great finish. Of course, John Hunter Nemechek brought home the checkered flag in the real world, but finishing 17th in the Xfinity Series at any level of real life is still incredible. I mean, right now, all things considered, he's even running 17th in points right now. So, 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s in the real world, 1 pole, that will do a lot as far as trying to get him closer to that top 12 when we get ready for playoffs, come September and October. And I'm hoping to get a chance to cross paths with him when I head on down to Miami in October, hopefully up at, I don't think Xfinity goes to Pocono now that I'm thinking about it.
He's definitely getting his revenge. He's setting one heck of a pace that's going to be really hard to grab. As we still look at this battle with Ethan Ball for the 10th place, these guys are fighting for every spot.
Yeah, they're really battling it out, and I mean, I did just take a peek here. Maybe I'll try to cross paths with Parker at Pocono, as I'll be up there with 105.5 WMGH FM out of Lansford, Pennsylvania. Going to get a chance to do the press thing and mingle and rub elbows with the fancy folk. Of course, that's the other side job. Everybody in this world needs a couple of side jobs at this point in life.
Matt Mackin into the wall at the start-finish line. Everybody was able to come clear out.
Looking to find Matt Mackin as he gets himself rolling again. That is no way to get her done. As we are 42 laps in, so 3 to go this time by for Parker Retzlaff, who's now opened up 4.47 seconds over Mike McConville. Ethan Ball, though, he is really going at it hard here with Gabriel Lafreniere in a battle for 9th position. We take a peek here at the youtube.com live chat. Want to welcome everyone in. Charlene McConville saying hello, Dave and Matt. Hey, Charlene, good to have you with us. As yes, massive prayers for John Force and, all of our thoughts and prayers there. And Young Camel cheering on the 53. And I'll tell you what, I cannot wait to see what Daniel Moynihan does. Quite frankly, anybody who drinks that Dunkin' Midnight is okay by me in my book. Not that my book matters, that's for sure.
This battle for 10th, this is... I'm at the edge of my seat waiting to see on who's really going to get these points.
Look, this is where it's at right now. And, it's kind of the way that things are going to be for the time being. And we're going to watch them duke it out.
Pit lane has just been closed as we prepare for the green and white flag here.
.44 laps in the books, just in case those of you who don't follow the NHRA and of course, drag. Wow, you know what? Screw it. We'll talk about it in a minute. Sorry, John Force, you're going to have to wait. As all of a sudden, we have a three-way battle for 8th position. The 96 of Ethan Ball here on the final lap of Stage 1. Now working his way past the 78 of Cody McCorkle. The 06 of Lafreniere. Now he looks to get around McCorkle as the 96 acts as a pick. And just as we cross here, we're working our way toward the end of lap 45. We're going to see one heck of a battle as Lafreniere would be that 10th place car that will trigger the caution flag to come out. Parker Retzlaff getting ready to cross the start-finish line. He will easily nab the green and white checkered flag here for Stage 1. Mike McConville getting ready to pass. Now Ethan Ball running away from McCorkle and Lafreniere as we haul it down here through Turn 4. Lafreniere peeks to the inside. He looks to see if he can get around McCorkle. They come to the start-finish line, but Cody McCorkle going to beat out Gabriel Lafreniere. The caution flag flies, and that will conclude stage number 1 here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Gabriel really started adding that pressure on that last lap. He was looking to try to take it 3 wide and thought better of it, and still was giving the bumper to Cody. Cody managed to hold on to it, and that was one heck of a stage. Let's see what Stage 2 is going to bring.
I can only assume that Stage 2 is going to bring nothing but excitement as we see Parker Retzlaff cooling down the car. He's finally going to be joined up by Mike McConville, who is chasing him down. And McConville has to be just simply stunned here in the produce place in Delhi number 1. I have yet to get down to Cape May. It's only about a 2-hour drive from here in Philly. Yeah, maybe an hour and 45 minutes. But
sounds like you have a trip to make.
I've got to get down to see Mikey Mack. I promise him I will get there this year. It's not that far of a ride. We'll get a chance to talk with Parker Retzlaff once he brings the field down pit road and completes his stop. And Parker Retzlaff going to come down, and it will be wholesale pit stops for a sale on tires and fuel, as Retzlaff going to bring everybody down pit road, followed by McConville, Moynihan, Minto, Hansen, Furlan, Jolie, Ball, McCorkle, and Lafreniere, your top 10.
So as we conduct this pit stop, do you think that any cars are going to try to take a 2-tire stop?
I don't think anybody's going to go for 2 tires. That's not usually what on God's green earth is going on here. That's something we haven't seen in a very long time. As Parker Retzlaff going to roll off a pit road. It could be the rain outside. Because we're going to get a chance here to talk with Parker Retzlaff as he rolls on off of pit road. I have not seen that in quite a minute. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Hey, man, listen, great run here in stage one. I mean, obviously, you bring home the green and white checkered flag. You finished 17th on Saturday in the real world. How is that translating to your experience here tonight on iRacing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I learned a lot this weekend with just how I needed to change my entry even on the sim here, and I think that's helped me a lot. I done a few B opens this week for preparation for this race in real life, and I think that it's made it a little bit better, and I got a good car underneath me also, so it's made my job a little bit easier.
I mean, you were gapping your teammate by more than 4.5 seconds at one point. Did you make any adjustments to the 5, or just leave it the way it was?
I just changed a little bit of braking stuff, but other than that, I've kept it all the same.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure we're going to see you either at the end of stage 2. If not, I'm sure on the podium here at the end of this piece. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of Parker Retzlaff, driver the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet. Thank goodness that rhymes.
Makes things just a tad bit easier.
All these drivers getting themselves re-racked and restacked as Parker going to lead us down the backstretch. He's got Daniel Moynihan running P2 right now. Mike McConville lost a little bit of time on pit road. Not sure what possibly brought that out.
So looking at times here, Aaron Mack had the fastest pit stop with a 12.85. That crew is working.
Goodness gracious, at 12.85, that might be your 2-tire stop with a full tank of fuel.
Looking at Parker's time, he was at a 14.9, but we had a lot of 15 seconds and 14-second pit times.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, unless there were some guys that were really making a lot of changes or taking really big swings at it, that's pretty impressive. But the whole field comes down here on 47, green flag the entire way. I mean, once again, it's almost like continuing last night's work here at Nashville in the Cup Series, that they have just carried that over here to the Xfinity Series.
As we get ready to take on stage 2, the pace cars turned off their lights. We're about to go racing again.
The lights on the iRacing.com pace car go out as we are ready to rock and roll. We come down the backstretch. These drivers have been working so hard this season, and I'm always fascinated at what I get to see out of these guys. I mean, all things considered, I think that we're just going to see more work get put in, and these guys, this is almost more competitive than the Cup Series.
I'd have to fully agree. I mean, when we start looking through the field here, Alonso, he had last year's pole, but now he's sitting just outside the top 10. I expect to see him in the top 10 for stage 2.
Parker Retzlaff with control of the field. We enter the Geico restart zone. We see the back end of that 5 squat down to the concrete, and off we go on our way to lap number 90. 40 to go in stage 2, and we're underway.
Parker is already bringing out to a quarter-second lead over his teammate Mike. Still have a lot of side-by-side. Oh, and we're looking at 3 wide just out right at the top 10.
3 wide they are coming through here. All of a sudden, Claude Ferlin right in the middle of the mess. Claude Ferlin, Sylvain Joly, and don't look now, but here is Eugenio Alonso making his first appearance into the top 10. He's up 7 positions from where he qualified back in 16th, and all of a sudden Eugenio starting to make that hay as we go under caution, and Mason Hoffner maybe having a rough go of it as he is up here in the wall in the number 30, and rough go of it might be an understatement.
Man, he's got a lot of front-end damage. That left front wheel is not wanting to turn at all.
They were 3 wide in front of him. There's Chris Claude on the high side, and here comes the 87 of Keith Black behind. Ron Fitting works. Oh, it started with the 66. It started with the 66 of Chris Custer. who just went sideways right in front of the 30. So here we are again watching this. Chris Custer just behind Ken Ron. Chris Custer bangs the back of Ken Ron, gets himself sideways, and just finishes the job right here in front of Mason Hoffner.
Man, this is almost like a death sentence for Mason. I mean, the right front's towed in, left front won't turn. This is just heartbreaking. I hate it for everybody involved.
Yeah, and no fast repairs either, as Chris Custer looks to give the old hawk to it, spit on that thing of the 33, and we just go spinning helplessly, and here looking out the rear deck, oh, there's Hoffner now limping the car down off the wall.
You know, and for the guys that were involved in that, now they're going to have to hit pit road, check for any repairs. I mean, Custer may end up having overheating issues as the run goes on.
Yeah, it looks like coming down pit road is Mickelson, Custer, Cook, Herring, and Hoffner. That's going to give Burkett and Mackin a chance to try to get caught up as they're each a lap down. And Parker Retzlaff, he's going to be our race leader. Right now we're going to get a chance here to speak with Brandon Minto, as it looks like the Allen Experience, yes, Jacksonville Speedway, all kinds of stuff going on in the YouTube.com live chat. We'll take a minute to chat with them shortly, but first, let's get a hold of Norman, Oklahoma's very own Brandon Minto. Yo, Brandon, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me.
I got you, Dave.
Buddy, listen, here you are running P3 behind Mike McConville and, of course, real-life professional driver Parker Retzlaff. What's going on and what's going through your mind? And furthermore, where is your teammate Mike Wright?
Well, what's going on in the race? I've just been trying to save as much tire as I can. I don't want to self-spin here. Started getting a little loose on entry there at the end of stage one. Exit was still really tight, but still just want to take care of all my stuff. Luckily, this is a little bit short of a stage with this caution right here. Sorry, Mike McConville just sent me a message, but I missed it. But no, just trying to save my stuff, and hopefully I can try to compete against Parker Retzlaff. His car in stage one was just ridiculously fast. He drove away from all of us, and I know me and Mike, I think I don't know how far ahead I am of Mike McConville, but I'm just happy I'm still sitting here scoring some points. He's not gaining too much on me. Just trying to keep this lead, stay up front. This year is a lot more competitive than I remember, so it's tough trying to stay up top. And then with Mike Wright, the whole Mike Wright situation, he just got tired of all the cautions, so he's waiting until all the cautions die down, and then he might come back in.
Yeah, well, you tell him that I miss talking to him. I mean, there's nobody else that I know from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's the only guy. And, you know, you two are usually the mad scientists out here on the racetrack. So, you know, I encourage him to come on back here. Of course, right now, it's only one caution for cause tonight. Last night we ran 300 laps with 2 cautions for cause. I mean, that was incredible. You know, I think we're finally getting into that stretch of racing where that might finally cool itself down.
Yeah, I absolutely hope so. That stage one was fun, having green flag from the whole time, no cautions at all. So just actually getting to race and none of this just pacing after pacing after pacing. That gets tiring after a while, and I don't know if I have enough beers lined up to make it through if we have anything like we did last week.
Buddy, I get it. I do. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and I'll pour one out for you. I've got strawberry margarita tonight, but tomorrow night in the truck series, I'll be back with beer.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, brother man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of Brandon Minto. We're going to get him back on up here into the Ferta Motorsports chat here. And, you know, I got to tell you, Matt, I'm waiting for him to come into the chat, but good old Uncle Scott's going to be popping in here at some point to the YouTube.com live chat, and he is a celebrity in his own right in this league. And he, of course, always cheering on Brandon Minto as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Parker Retzlaff with control of the field.
We're looking at a turn 4 here. Parker's waiting to fire off in this restart zone. Minto's going to real question is, will Minto be able to stick with them? Minto's to the inside of Mike. Inside line still prevails. Minto almost clear of Mike. Drives it in deep.
Brandon Minto holding the inside line underneath Mike McConville as McConville gets a run here but has to back out just a little bit as Minto really drove it in hard here for turn 3. He slides in front of Mike McConville and says, all right, listen, let me run P2 for a while and see if I can take on Parker Retzlaff. As Retzlaff now gaps him by about a quarter of a second. We've got a hot and heavy battle here for 15th position. Side by side goes Kavaja Holdas. He is 3 wide with Papano on the low side. Now Papano goes just behind him. They get out of that 3 wide situation. Papano now running himself in 16th position as they work their way right on by Daniel Moynihan, who runs on that Dunkin' Donuts Midnight Blend. And let me tell you, if you've never had the Dunkin' Midnight, go ahead and do it. It is like snorting crack cocaine through your nose in a straw.
I can't say that I ever have.
I am a fiend for, energy drinks don't trip my trigger. I mean, I can drink them and it's fine, but you give me a good cup of coffee and I'm a happy camper. Speaking of a happy camper, here is Sylvain Joly and Gabriel Lafreniere. They work behind Ethan Ball, 2 teammates right in the middle of a hornet's nest, as they've at least got some comfort on either side of them, and we go under caution. Aaron Mack in the 31 possibly having to recover after this one as he is slow to get back going. Let's see what happened here.
And Custer gets caught up once again.
Here's Aaron Mack in the 31. He gets right across the nose of the 29, sideways. Whoa, here comes the 09. That'll do it. Oh, my. We're having some fun now as Chris Custer came on down pit lane as well. We'll see what happened with him, as it looks like maybe he just needed a... Oh, nope, he was slow to recover as well. He's trying to get it refired. Let's see what happened here from Custer's perspective. Oh, he had a connection problem, and he's gone.
Oh, man. Looking back at this incident, earlier in the race, I was talking about on how that nose will push through the turn. It pushes real bad with the Cup car, but not as bad with the Xfinity car. I think that had something to do with it in this wreck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of drivers are fighting that condition, and unfortunately, here we are, 3rd caution of the night, 2nd for cause. Just as I said, I thought we were over it. All of a sudden, the caution bug comes around and starts to bite us in the ankles.
Ever since that first caution flew, it was like somebody flipped a switch, and it's just been hard racing nonstop. I mean, nobody's giving an inch. Hopefully, it settles back down towards the end of stage 2. We get through the stage, and we get a nice finish to this race.
And as these drivers get a chance to catch their breath, we'll catch ours. We'll be right back here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. Well, I'm Dave Regal. He's Matt Moniak, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
Racing isn't easy.
All right.
But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on
I missed a couple.
replicas
My
of the
apologies.
greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series.
Right.
In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
One of my things right now is I need to figure out my mic and the levels, because I know that it projects a lot louder. So I need... That's odd.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel.
No, not at all. I'll have to look into that.
The future is feeling.
Maybe if I just move my mic further off, that'll do it. Okay. Right.
Tim Musker has to defend this contact very nearly. He just to the outside line. He breaks so much later. Musker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. You're watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series live here on Sim Racing Media. Matt Moniak and Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we come back to a caution. Oh, I feel like I may have jinxed this one a little much.
I wasn't able to catch what happened, but I do know that we have Timothy Cook and Chris Custer sitting in the pits trying to get some of the repairs done on their cars.
Oh. Ken Ron just bought the big one here. We're going to see if we can ride along with Ken Ron. We're going to watch here. We're going to watch the 89. That's Steve Herring just behind Ken Ron. And Herring, wow, gave him a shot to the rear bumper. That was almost uncalled for.
You know, it's not very often you see a hood fly off with these Xfinity cars, but that hood was just gone.
We're going to take another look at it here now. Ken Ron gets himself... Ken Ron got a little loose and was dirt tracking it, and that's when Herring caught the rear bumper. And Ken Ron just spins helplessly down the front stretch and hops on down to the pits. I don't understand what's causing some of this, because as we look here, I mean, you know, conditions are starting to be a little bit favorable. 102 degrees on the concrete. Maybe drivers made a couple of adjustments that weren't favorable to a continually hot racetrack. I mean, Parker said that he made some adjustments to the brake adjustment, but, you know, that's nothing. That's a creature comfort. That's not even, you know, chassis related.
But if you also roll that brake bias all the way back and you really jam those brakes, you know, you overcook the entry, you know, when you hit that brake, it wants to snap. And then with that transition point in the track, that could have been what happened to him. kind of looking through some of the cars here. You know, out of that crash, Ken managed to protect his front end, but his back end is missing at this point. Aaron Mack is sitting in the pits getting some adjustments fixed.
Parker Retzlaff, he's going to still be our race leader. He has basically led every lap of this race. He leads Mike McConville running in P2 right now, who's basically been there the whole time. Brandon Minto, Claude Ferlin, and Ethan Ball make up your top 5. Cody McCorkle, Gabriel Lafreniere, Sylvain Joly, Sam Bolin, and Eugenio Alonso make up the top 10 here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. I want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat. Of course, we had started to talk about it just a few moments ago as we see Richard Putnam cheering on Minto Podium, as apparently we were supposed to tell Minto meow. There's Uncle Scott. Uncle Scott hopping into the YouTube.com live chat. Go 12 car just sat down to enjoy a Miller Lite. My man, Pots and Pans. Cheers for more beers, Uncle Scott. As we work here on lap number 69. You know, never mind. I can't even go with it. I can't even go there. That's part of those words I'm not allowed to say on TV. But we had started to touch on it just a few moments ago. Regarding the thoughts and prayers for John Force. Of course, he's a funny car driver there in the NHRA drag racing series, and it turns out that he now 75 years old and he's still out there, killing it on the racetrack. And he apparently suffered a traumatic brain injury in a 300-mile-per-hour crash at the Virginia Nationals last week. But according to the AP, he is showing daily signs of improvement. And, so of course we are giving our thoughts and prayers to a man who literally without John Force and, his daughters and his whole family, we wouldn't have the exposure to the NHRA that we do. And I got a chance to cross paths with him once upon a time at Maple Grove. And just an incredible guy is John Force. And, to be 75 and still strapping into the car to go 300 miles an hour, wow.
That takes a lot of guts, The report I seen on him last night was he finally managed to open his eyes and he's responsive. That's a lot of progress from where we were just a couple days earlier.
That's a lot of progress compared to the President of the United States. Whoops, I said it out loud. See, I did it. There it is. Whoops.
You gotta take it easy. We might get canceled.
That's fine. Cancel it, please. I feel like around NASCAR fans, I'm in a safe space.
I think that's pretty safe.
This is a sport where we've had Ronald Reagan, call to start their engines, as well as Donald Trump. I feel like Joe Biden would be caught dead at a racetrack. Of course, he was nearly caught dead on the stage for a debate. See, there I go again. I can't help it.
As we get ready to fire back off on this restart, I just wanted to touch base on Richard Pruitt, up 19 spots, sitting in P11 for this restart.
There is Richard Pruitt in the 74, or in the 24, I'm sorry, as Parker Retzlaff chooses the high side this time, alongside Mikey Mack McConville, as Mikey Mack fires off behind Retzlaff. Retzlaff hugs the wall, and he gets ready to haul it down into turn 2. Away we go here on lap number 71, 20 to go in stage 2.
Minto clears for third. He's a little bit loose off of 2. They all starting to follow a single file line now.
The Yoki in the number 12 takes the third position right now, running that Ford Mustang just ahead of Claude Ferlin and Cody McCorkle, as they are all but side by side back here. That's Sylvain Joly and Ethan Ball, as Ethan has the 96 Linders machine side by side with him coming into turn 2 once again. And my goodness, this is going to be impressive to watch what he's got to do to hold off Sylvain Joly. Sylvain is one of those drivers who will just wear you down. He goes after it every week the same way. I will poke it and I will prod and I will get up there.
Back in the 10th position, they're still fighting. 11th position, looking 3 wide.
Parker Retzlaff just laid down fast time of the race at 30.65 seconds.
And we are under another caution.
Sure, why not? Let's have more. More of that, please. As
Pilardi.
Michael Pilardi has crashed. Here's Pilardi in the 29. Oh, hooked by the 3 of Ron Fitting. Fitting goes skittering across the racetrack as well. Let's see what might have happened here from his perspective. Here is Ron Fitting in the Grease Monkey number 3. We see, looks like, there it is. Oh my.
Just not enough room. Oh.
And there's Chris Claude taking a race car to the face in the form of the 3. There's Chris down here. Let's see if we can catch this maybe from where he was as he quickly towed down to pit road. That's something that we don't see very often here from Chris as we're going to follow along. Chris Claude, of course, chief cook and bottle washer here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And wow, Chris was trying to guide the car down the racetrack and, popped the engine almost instantly.
You know, I'm as much as these wrecks are starting to pile up and we're starting to get more drivers involved, the 3 really held onto his brakes and tried to avoid coming back down the track. You gotta give him some credit there. I mean, taking a bad situation and trying not to make it worse.
We're going to see if we can get a hold of Chris Claude since maybe this is part of the problem here. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. There it is. Get over here, you goofy little son of a gun. We're going to see if we can get a hold of Chris Claude here, driver the number 10. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like you just ran into there. The engine popped almost instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I saw you trying to get the race car down toward the apron. It just too little, too late.
Yeah, I could not get it slowed down and turned down fast enough. And by the time I saw what was going on, I saw him up to the wall. Then once the 3 came down, I don't think that there was a way for me to get it slowed down and turned fast enough to avoid it.
Well, it's unfortunately just sometimes the way the ball bounces here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. I mean, last night you've got a lot to hang your hat on. 300 laps with only 2 cautions for cause. I mean, that was impressive last night.
Right, and everything started out fine tonight also. I'm not sure what has set off all this. Maybe if perhaps some people didn't take tires, kind of like I didn't take tires after the first stage, and or suffering because of it now. But that's the only thing I can think of because everything was pretty smooth the first stage.
Yeah, I did the math, and I mean, one with 188 laps and 4 sets of tires, you're looking at 47 laps, for your pit window if you wanted to use all 4 sets. So, some of the guys, I know that you're one of those that likes to try to have that extra, set of tires in the back pocket, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out tonight.
No, but I'll be out in exactly. I'm watching. Oh, maybe I won't be. I've got 42 minutes required, so it'll be a while before I get it back on the track.
Well,
that was a big one. Yeah, that was a big one.
Of course, as you know, the SNN family of racing series is near and dear to my heart. We want to thank you for being a partner here, and of course, over the next couple of weeks, we're celebrating reaching 4,000 viewers, and literally without you, we wouldn't be there, and especially because you're one of the foundational leagues that we carry here on Sim Racing Media. So thank you for that. And of course, last night we had a come to Jesus moment for Alan Bergen. He tasted a Yingling Yingling Flight for the first time. In a couple of weeks, I will be tasting Budweiser for the first time. I'm preparing a puke bucket. But the big news is that I will be racing August 25th in a fan voted upon paint scheme, which was just decided by the SRM powers that be. For the Coke 0400. So I want to thank you for that opportunity. Of course, I'm hoping to do well, and it is what it is. It's a super speedway. You know how I feel about them.
Oh, I know, and it's nice to have you back on the track for any race, but especially for a race where you should be about as competitive as any other track that we run.
Look, I don't try to fool myself whatsoever. I'm gonna wind up slow as all get out, but I always credited my Superspeedway prowess to Barrett Coffey and the tips that he gave me after I wrecked him at Talladega in the Truck Series. And
that's
some of that I really find to be the beauty of this league, because you can wreck somebody one week and the next week they're giving you tips on how not to do that.
Right. And speaking of Barrett, he definitely helped get me pushed to a win in another league that I ran on at Daytona. So he knows what he's doing, and I'm sure that you will have quite a few guys that may be looking to help you out that night.
Hey, it's going to be free camera time, that's for sure, as they watch me out there. But listen, good luck sitting down there on pit road. We are back green flag racing, so thanks for the time, Chris. We appreciate you here at Sim Racing Media.
All right, see you in a little bit.
That the voice of Chris Claude. Parker Retzlaff taking the green flag and hopping away from Mike McConville by 0.4 of a second already. Duking it out right now is Cody McCorkle and Claude Ferland as the 78 and the 43 get the hammer and tongs out here on lap 78.
Towards the front of the pack, we're still running side by side for the 5th and all the way from 5th on back. The inside line still seems to be the more dominant line, but the outside lines may be able to kind of creep back as we look at Sylvain and Ethan Ball make contact in 3 and 4.
Sylvain Jolie here in the 08. They suddenly are getting ready to put fender to fender here, coming through the front stretch as they cross the start-finish line on lap number 80. 10 to go next time by in stage 2. And right now, Ethan Ball with the edge. Parker Retzlaff just blew his own time out of the wall while Sylvain Jolie gets loose coming out of 2. Now that we've seen that curtain get peeled back a little bit and heard from Chris Claude about drivers who may not have taken tires to see if they could keep that spare set in their back pocket, it's making a lot more sense on where all of these cautions are coming from now here in stage 2. As we cross the start-finish line, Sam Bolin goes side by side now with Sylvain Jolie as Sylvain starts to slide backwards, but his teammate is there to stop the bleeding. That's Gabriel Lafreniere with Eric Papineau just behind in the 17, and Papineau trying to hold off Brockton Packard and Kavaja Holt at the same time. He's going to have to make a decision here, because I don't think he's going to be able to make that car 3 wide to hold it together.
No, it's going to be a real hard battle here for these last couple of laps, and how hard do you really want to fight it? Do you potentially want to risk being a caution, or just lose that spot and move on?
Well, there's a reason that I'm up here in the broadcast booth and not down on the racetrack full-time anymore. And a lot of that's because I would get myself into a good position, get a little bit too full of myself, and forget that I had, 100 laps plus to go. And that's what causes wrecks, and that was always my problem on the racetrack, and that's also what drove me to, stay up here in the broadcast booth and out of the line of fire.
The broadcast booth is a great place to be. You don't have to worry about getting a concussion.
That's true, except for when I'm slamming my head through the desk on caution number 37. As wow, all of a sudden John Wilco just falling through the ranks. He has really come off the pace here as he now slides behind Keith Black into 21st position. John Wilco with what seems to be some kind of a problem.
Wilco's last lap was a 31.181. He was right alongside of all of his competitors for time-wise.
I'm not sure what suddenly dropped him down here, but he's now running a 33.54 the last lap. So I'm curious to see maybe what's going on with McAdoo, Pennsylvania's favorite son here. Of course, I know McAdoo very well. I know their fire chief and the fire chief's brother, and it's quite a town, let me tell you, all 3 blocks of it. Sylvain Jolie now working behind his teammate. It looks like they're going to be sticking together. It doesn't look like Gabriel Lafreniere wants to battle out his teammate in Sylvain Jolie. It looks like they want to stick together and see if they can maybe try to put something together here as they almost, there we are, bump draft down the back chute. Does Gabriel now as he backs off the rear bumper of Sylvain Jolie. Maybe this is going to be the way to boogie around this piece. You suddenly have to start working together as loose coming off the corner is the 96 of Ethan Ball out of 4. Now with 5 to go in stage 2.
I think that as long as they try to hold off Eric Papineau, then they'll be sitting fine with their points. But behind Eric, you have a group of cars that are hungry to try to get in that 10th place spot.
Ethan Ball runs in P6 right now. Contact there between the 67 and the 96, the 67 of Sam Bolin. We're going to go on board here with Bolin as he has to let Ball on by for the time being. We look behind Bolin, and he can see right here in the rearview mirror Sylvain Joly and both of our neighbors from the north, Gabriel Lafreniere and Sylvain, as they are now side by side down the back chute with 3 to go at the line here in stage 2.
I think if I'm Sam, I'd be making my car as wide as it could be. I mean, sitting 7th in the stage, if he can kill that outside run, he's got 7th place for the stage. No questions asked.
Parker Retzlaff opening up a 2.1 second lead over Mike McConville, now works his way around the 07 of Corey Burkett. Burkett was put down a lap just a stage ago, and now Parker Retzlaff setting sail and hitting that clean air. He is all by his lonesome out here on lap 88.
Bolin still has his hands full, but they're in single file. However, Eric Papineau is caught up. You can throw a blanket over your last 5 cars for for your stage points.
Yeah, these cars are definitely going to be sitting here nice and heavy. I mean, Brockton Packard looks from beyond, and I don't think he's got it to try to get up here into 10th position and challenge Papineau and Lafreniere, but he's going to make a good run at it here on the final couple of laps in stage 2. Brockton Packard here in the 63 trying to get up into the top 10, grab himself a stage point, as now side by side goes Papineau and Gabriel. They are 3 wide through the trioval. Papineau, the meat in the middle of that sandwich, and now he does give up 10th position to Brockton Packard, who slides on by. Kavaja Holt now runs in P12 as he was holding up Papineau, and now Papineau looks to the inside as he gets ready to get the hammer and tongs out here on lap number 90. Parker Retzlaff dragging the field back onto the front stretch. Here we go, waiting to see who it's going to be across the line. The 63 of Brockton Packard slides in front of Eric Papineau, and that will conclude stage number 2. It goes Retzlaff, McConville, Brandon Minto, Cody McCorkle, Claude Ferlin, Ethan Ball, Sylvain Joly, Gabriel Lafreniere, Sam Bolin, and Brockton Packard, all going to be awarded those valuable stage points here at the end of stage 2 at Nashville Superspeedway.
Talk about a nail biter. Ending a stage like that's one heck of an ending. Eric had a pretty big save there towards the end. You can't ask any more out of these guys.
No, they're working their tails off, that's for sure, as Parker Retzlaff cools it down one more time here. After a fairly decent green flag run at the end of that stage, we see Nick Hansen here in the 99. He's back in 16th position. Some other drivers of note. Josh Mertens in 19th position, brand new to the league, of course, as well as Keith Black in his rookie season here. So it's been an interesting night so far. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, finishes that stage in 21st. We're going to see if he's going to take 4 tires. I'm guessing that we're going to see everybody take those tires this time around, as Chris Claude kind of clued us in to what was going on as Parker Retzlaff hauls it down pit road.
As we go to tackle this last portion of the race, do you see anybody trying to short pit this? Or you think that everybody will just try to run out their laps and then just take tires each pit stop?
This league is one of those that maybe you'll have a couple of outliers try to short pit it. Looks like Papineau and Pruitt going to do it the other way, as they're going to stay out. And here we go, Parker Retzlaff. Here comes the right side popping up. And, so there's going to be a couple of drivers that try to do it the other way, where Papineau and Pruitt will stay out here after coming down on lap number 47. And we'll see them try to run that fuel out. But right now we're going to get a chance to talk with Parker Retzlaff, who now has won stage 2 here. He's swept both of them. He went back-to-back the last couple of weeks as we get a hold of him. Hey, Parker, it's Dave. You got me?
I got you.
Well, man, you've now swept both stages here at Nashville Superspeedway. You've got 2 wins back-to-back the last 2 weeks. Is tonight the night for the three-peat for the 5 team?
I mean, it's feeling pretty good right now. I think I made one change right here just because the track is getting a little bit darker, and I think the sun's starting to go down. So made a little change, hoping to make the Funko Chevy a little bit better, and hopefully we can have a good clean finish here to the end.
Yeah, man, perfectly said. I mean, as we get ready to settle in here, I mean, the track temperature has cooled off just a little bit. It's gotten a little bit darker. I mean, right now it looks like track temperature 98 degrees, and to me, that's always kind of the witching hour with these Goodyear Eagles on the Xfinity car.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to start making a couple of changes here, because that's looking like to be about 10 to 12 degrees colder than we started this race. So there's going to be some sort of change happening here, but yeah, I think the Funko car is driving good.
All right, man, good luck the rest of the way, and hey, I'm guessing we're going to see you either in victory lane or on the podium for sure.
Thank you.
That's the voice of Parker Retzlaff, driver of the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet, as we move him back on up here into his Discord channel. He gets back up there himself. John Wilco going to stay out here for reasons I'm not quite sure of. He last came down on lap number 54. We saw him kind of fall off the pace a little while ago, Matt, and that was concerning in and of itself, but maybe he was just trying to cool the tires down early in preparation for this stage restart.
And that very well could be. I mean, looking at his car, I don't see any damage. So, besides being low on fuel as he comes down for pit road right now, cancel that out.
Like making me look like a clown. That's going to put Einlander, Dennis Mickelson up here in P1. I'm not sure where Einlander is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a region in Germany. So I'm hoping that I'm saying it right.
Looking at Dennis's pit stop, he really managed to leapfrog past Parker, but his pit stop looked like fuel only with a 6-second stop. There's actually a couple cars that had 6-second stops or, fuel only. Princeton, we're looking at Alonso, just naming off a couple here, and Pruitt.
Just a quick Google search here, and it seems like Dennis Mickelson may be from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. So that makes it a little less fun to say. Apparently, it's a city in Wisconsin that was originally called Pelican Rapids by the early settlers. So that's not near as much fun as possibly being from Germany.
I mean, are we talking towards the UP, or are we talking, the southern Wisconsin?
Like mainland difference. Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that takes all the fun out of it. But Dennis Mickelson going to have control of the field as we hit the Geico restart zone. All of a sudden, he squats the 25 down to the concrete, and here we go, stage 3, racing for the checkered flag. Dennis Mickelson leads us out of turn 1, and he was side by side with Mike McConville, and he is going to throw haymakers to stay ahead of Parker Retzlaff.
78 broke loose there, Cody McCorkle. He managed to hold on to it and save it, but he's losing a couple of spots back to 5th.
All of a sudden, Mikey Mack McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey runs P1. He is our new race leader for the first time. It's been not Parker Retzlaff ahead of everybody else. 0.2 of a second is Mikey Mack now ahead of Parker. As Parker's got 2 wins in a row, we were looking for the 3-peat tonight. He still has a shot here, obviously. It's anybody's race, as we saw a little bobble out of the 78 of Cody McCorkle. As he comes down the back chute and into turn 3, he pulls just ahead of Dennis Mickelson and gets in line underneath Brandon Minto.
They're still fighting side by side for 5th on back. Claude Furlan manages to pass Dennis as they file out in a single file. Ooh, we're going to be looking 3 wide here with Brockman Packard. He's looking low. Manages to clear the 06, but is it going to stick? Brockman Packard still trying to push for additional spots. Dennis Mickelson is still trying to hold him off. Oh, Mickelson gets a little bit loose. Checks up the 08. But they're still all green flag racing.
Brockton Packard just came out in 6th position after basically driving through a knot of misery here on lap number 99. So we're just about at that century mark here tonight. Dennis Mickelson rounds out your top 10 for the time being. He's got Kavaja Holt in tow by about a quarter of a second. Parker Retzlaff has now passed Mike McConville for the lead. Let's take a look and see what happened as Parker Retzlaff set up Mike McConville as they came out of turn 4 onto the front chute. Parker got right up onto the bumper of the 1. As soon as he moved down, it took the air off of that spoiler. It slowed McConville down, and they swapped positions, and now they are Retzlaff and McConville 1 and 2 again.
That is one strong team to try to even compete with today. However, Minto's trying to hang tight, almost a second back in 3rd.
Here comes Nick Hansen in the 99 running in P11 right now. He's going after Kavaja Holt, ready to mbop his way up into the top 10. As Kavaja looks back here in the rearview mirror, he can see Hansen all over that rear bumper, and Hansen is not about to take it easy on him now with just about 86 laps to go.
As you guys heard Parker earlier, track temp is starting to cool off as we transition towards more of an evening race. We're down to 99 degrees on track. You know, will it really play that much of a difference? Will we have enough laps to go for it to play that much of a difference?
We're going to find out here as we're working here toward the conclusion. Oh, loose coming out of 4 is the 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere, as now he is door handle to door handle with Brockton Packard. And I'll tell you what, this is going to turn into one of those situations where we hold our collective breath watching the final stage of this race as Claude Ferland, now just ahead of Lafreniere, runs in P5, and Lafreniere holding off Packard again, and he has got to be frustrated as all get out right now as Packard tries to claw his way up here toward the top 5. Looks like Gabriel trying to protect his teammate and that top 5 finish for him. But right now it goes Retzlaff, McConville, Minto, McCorkle, Ferland, your top 5.
Packard is on a mission, though. He's already up 15 spots from where he started this race, and he's still trying to claw back for more.
John Wawalda running up 15 spots after starting dead last in the field, now runs in 21st. He has proven why he is an incredible driver in this league. I know with those scuffs down there on the side of the 51 here, he's got to be more frustrated than a Keebler Elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer, but he can still be proud to hang his hat here on 21st position after fighting his way through all this traffic.
You know, talking about upsides, and some of the struggles these drivers are facing lap after lap. Corey Burkett, you know, granted, he's sitting back in 26th position, but he's clawed his way back onto the lead lap, and he's still in this race. I mean, after all the damage that he's seen throughout this, to be on the lead lap is a win within itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of drivers in this league that I know, they know their limits, and, you know, I think sometimes setting yourself a realistic goal is half the battle here, as Eugenio Alonso leads just ahead of Keith Black and John Crow Sr. Eugenio has been one of those drivers over the years that has really put the work into this league.
He was last year's pole sitter for here at the Nashville Superspeedway. I wouldn't count him out yet.
No, Eugenio is a driver that you can almost never count out unless he's sitting on pit road, and even then he's still a threat. As we look at some of these other battles here on the racetrack, Ethan Ball now trying to hold off Alex Princeton in the 95. John Crow in the 95. Alex Princeton running in P18. It's been a while since we've called his number, as he's got the tracker machine just, floating around here, as we are just about at 80 laps to go next time by, and it's almost like Princeton just can't really figure it out here in this Toyota Supra.
Speaking of struggles, Brockton Packard is now starting to lose a couple of spots. He's dropped back to 8th, letting Bolin and Gabriel by.
Parker Retzlaff starts to gap Mike McConville by 1.4 seconds. We work here. Keith Black all of a sudden goes side by side with Ethan Ball, slides on past, and now he puts Eugenio Alonso into the crosshairs. Here we see the Olathe, Kansas native getting ready to chase down our driver from Buenos Aires. And now Ethan Ball slides here in the middle, and it's a question of whether or not Ethan Black follows Ball or if he tries to attack Eugenio head on.
Ethan Ball managed to make that second lane actually work. You know, I think that's going to be a sign of things to come as we expect Black to try the same thing around Alonso.
These drivers are not going to be put to bed early tonight, that's for sure, as we work lap 110 here of 188. Parker Retzlaff, our race leader, doing literally exactly what he does every week here in this league. And I mean, you know, as long as nobody gets into him, he usually has a fighting chance at leading this thing. Cody McCorkle now starting to close in on Brandon Minto, about 0.2 of a second between these two drivers. We're going to go on board here with Brandon Minto looking back here at McCorkle, and we can see Minto now starting to have that gap ebb away, as now they're at just less than 0.2 of a second. Of course, we see Trent Curtis. That's actually how JRTCR has done so well recently. We all do an 8-ball of Coke before the race. That seems about right. Another warm thought from Uncle Scott here about John Force. And I hope that Uncle Scott's cell phone battery isn't dying, but the Michigan Rocker says so. B-Scar said, look at what Rhinelander's high school mascot is. I'm from up that way. Oh, I can't wait to find this out. I love when our fans start to do a little bit of advanced research.
They're going to keep you on your toes. So as we take a look back here, we're looking to look around for our 4th position. Cody McCorkle is trying to run down Minto. He's going to try to peak low to get that inside run. Using the draft, try to set himself up for this next turn here. Cody's going to dive low on Minto and slide up just a little bit. For the time being, he looks content riding behind Minto.
So taking a look here at what Rhinelander High School's mascot is, it is called the Ho Dog. It is apparently a fearsome critter resembling a large bullhorn carnivore with a row of thick curved spines down its back. The Ho Dog was said to be born from the ashes of cremated oxen as the incarnation of the accumulation of abuse the animals had suffered at the hands of their masters. Wow! The Ho Dog has figured prominently in the early Paul Bunyan stories.
I've just learned something new.
And apparently there's a Ho Dog statue in front of the Rhinelander Chamber of Commerce, and now I have to go.
We have one battle really heating up for the 18th position between Alex Crimson and Josh in the number 42, with Josh completing the pass. They're going to be working behind lap traffic at Corey Burkett.
Here is
Corey's
that pass from Alex Princeton getting around Mertens, and now Mertens getting around Alex Princeton as they were side by side coming down the front stretch. As they crossed the line, they were literally neck and neck, and now we see Mertens getting his way on back past Alex Princeton here on lap 116, now 117 at the line.
The battle for 5th is starting to really heat up with Gabriel.
Gabriel Lafreniere getting ready to start throwing haymakers at his own teammate in the form of Claude Ferlin as they work their way toward Cody McCorkle in P4. We've seen these two drivers from the Axon LED stable, working together all night long. They're both up 5 and 6 positions after starting 10th and 12th tonight. And now all of a sudden Gabriel slides just around Claude, as they go side by side, John Force style down the front stretch, and turn this thing into a two-car battle for 5th position on lap 118. 70 to go here at Nashville Superspeedway.
No, but they don't want to battle too hard because Bolin is trying to close in on them. If Bolin closes in, he's going to give them one heck of a run.
Sam Bolin running in 7th position right now. He's up 11 after qualifying in 18th position. He's got that iRacing iFlag number 67 Chevrolet Camaro cranked up to crazy here. He's trying to hold on to it. Most of these drivers should still have a set of tires ready to rock and roll. We're going to see whether or not they do and what they do here, you know, with that strategy, as we are now about 68 to go. And, you know, now we're getting to that point of the race. This is where that question that you raised comes from. Do you short pit here and try to take those fresh tires deeper into the race, or do you try to squeeze every drop of fuel out of the cell and then short pit that money stop at the end?
And with them last pitting on lap 92, you know, they're starting to add some of these laps on. You know, I'm thinking that we're going to be having somebody at the back really try to gamble this and flip this completely.
We've seen it happen here in this league, you know, more than once, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how hard you roll the dice in Nashville, but, you know, I can guarantee that they're thinking about a hot chicken sandwich with pickles on it, that's for sure.
Parker's up to a 4 1/4 second lead over his teammate Mike McConville, with Brandon Minto, Cody McCorkle looking right behind.
Cody McCorkle running in P4 just ahead of Gabriel Lafreniere. Brandon Minto maybe starting to sweat a little bit, as it looks like, you know, to your point, you can throw a blanket over P1 and P2 as Retzlaff and McConville are now gapping Minto by 1.68 seconds. There's 6.2 seconds between Minto and Retzlaff. So, you know, the real question starts to get raised here starting in 3rd position. Kavaja Holt here in the 00 is rubbing paint with Daniel Moynihan in the 53. And Moynihan not going to be satisfied with that as we go on board here with Moynihan. Let's lift that camera up and let it rotate here to see what Kavaja's doing.
Oh, and he clears them.
For now, but here comes Kavaja for another bite here. Longtime friend of Barrett Coffee in this league is Kavaja now side by side, dead even, coming through turn 2 as they roll it out the backstretch. We are watching some incredible racing. You don't even realize how beautiful this racetrack is because you're so concentrated here on these cars.
Daniels managed to clear him once again through the high side. About a half car length now.
Kavaja Holt now, yeah, about a half car length ahead there. About 0.2 of a second between those two drivers. And we look back a little further here in the 01 of Matt Mackin, still trying to chase down Richard Pruitt. 0.3 of a second between these two drivers. And, you know, you think, wow, this really doesn't matter. But the points do. You know, this is not whose line is in any way where the points don't matter, so it doesn't really, you know, nobody cares who wins whose line is in any way. Everybody worries about who wins here tonight at Nashville.
Gabriel was able to complete the pass on Minto, who's now fallen back into 5th place. I wouldn't be surprised to see Minto take that gamble.
Matt Mackin working in 23rd. We go all the way back up here to Brandon Minto in the 12 car running in P5. He's now trailing Gabriel Lafreniere by 1/4 of a second. He has split the two Canadians and sits right between Lafreniere and Furlan, as Claude Furlan running P6, just about 0.4 of a second behind Minto.
Parker's almost up to a 5-second lead here as he continues to tick down these laps. We're working on lap 126, coming to 127. Parker breaks loose a little bit coming out of 4.
You know, the question is, how is Parker managing to save these tires, and what's he doing to this thing? Let's go on board here with Parker Retzlaff, as he is really backing down the throttle here coming into 2. Let's see what he's doing with this thing. He's driving in not too hard to turn 3, but still more than I think I would be capable of. He's not cycling the clutch yet to try to let all of those RPMs out, let that engine breathe for a second.
You know, and he's still building a tenth of time over his teammate Mike McConville.
This car is loose as a goose. Parker Retzlaff, obviously a very talented race car driver, able to set that car up to be looser than anything. I mean, that thing looks like a slut on prom night, that's for sure.
Your next closest battle is going to be Bolin trying to overtake Furlan for the 6th position as he looks to the outside. Now it's going to be a 3-car battle.
Sam Bolin caught in the Canadian contingent here, as it almost looks like as soon as he made the move to get around the 43, he got deked out of the way as Claude Furlan Sylvain Joly slides underneath him. That almost looked orchestrated, because the moment that the 67 peaked up to go around the 43, the 08 was there to slam the door shut on him and now shove him back behind and into 8th position.
But Bolin's definitely not giving up. He's still fighting back, using that second lane. As he slides up into the 3rd lane, he's going to start losing a little bit of ground.
This is one of those situations where you have to let the Wookiee win.
Nick Hansen is starting to try to make a move to the inside. He passes Corey. Nick Hansen is there.
.131 laps in the books. We're approaching 50 to go. Parker Retzlaff, your race leader, with 6 seconds over Mike McConville right now. As we look way back here to where McConville is, he still has a second and a quarter over Cody McCorkle. That would be your podium if the checkered flag flew right now. But Parker Retzlaff is showing people exactly why he has that NASCAR driver's license and why he gets to do this every Saturday in the real world.
And for it to be this far in the run, and now this is the point where you're really stretching your lead. I mean, just in the last couple of laps, you just added a second gap between him and Mike.
Well, and that skill that he has here in the real world, he's translating that here. He uses that where his tires are not falling off at the same rate that everybody else's are. You know, that's something that you can only learn when you've got a spotter on top of, you know, the media center and a good crew chief down in the pit box.
You know, looking through here, everybody's just single filed out. I mean, everybody's trying to ride to get to that point where they can really start to take that gamble. You know, who's going to be for the first one on pit road?
$55 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. We're going to step aside one final time here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel. He is Matt Moniak, and this is Sim Racing Media.
All right. Okay. That is why I stopped talking. Yep, that it has.
Contact very nearly. He just to the outside line. He brakes so much later. Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside.
inside through turn one. Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line.
I don't feel bad. I mean,
Richard's going to hold the inside.
I think there's some things I want to tweak,
They're going to be side by side.
but they'll kind of go as we have a caution.
As they're still
Holt
four
just
wide
wrecked
on the run down
with
in the back
Furlan.
straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Aphrodite is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Being more descriptive, but then letting it flow a little bit more. You know, and that's going to kind of come more with when I get familiar with guys and the cars they're running.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Right.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible.
Right.
Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends.
Wow.
Feel the thrill behind the wheel.
Good old NR 2003. Oh.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Tony. Because I ran ISNF quite a bit.
Racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real-world cars.
I get it.
And over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original
Try being an admin there.
This.
I go, try
is
being an
iRacing.
admin there. Yep. Just in time for the recap or restart.
Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway, where we just had a caution brought out by Kavaja Holt, but Gabriel Lafreniere claims the lead here for the time being alongside of Norman, Oklahoma's Brandon Minto. They dropped the loud pedal, and here we go. Just over 40 laps to go tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Matt Moniak with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones. As all of a sudden, the heat has been turned up like crazy, Matt.
100%. We're going to be looking at guys driving and pushing for every single inch that they can manage on this track. I don't think we're done with the cautions. I hope we are, but we're going to be in for one heck of an ending.
Yeah, about 45 laps to go as they're all but 3 wide here, just behind Brandon Minto, and there they go. Oh,
well,
there it is, the 63, and
around.
Around we go. Sylvain Joly is spinning helplessly down the track. All of a sudden, it is a mess on the front stretch, and we are under caution. Let's see if we can find out exactly where this happened here. We're going to go here to the 63 of Brockton Packard, who was involved in this. I don't think that anybody's going to be happy when we see this from as many angles as we're about to. Here's Brockton Packard as he looks like, oh, the 67 washes up into him. That's Sam Bolin. And there goes Brandon Minto down into the grass. He gets shoved right into the not so safer barrier on the grass. Let's see if we can take a look at that from Brandon's perspective.
That's a lot of good cars out. That's going to hurt.
It really is.
Right now we've got the 08 and the 42 in the pits trying to address damage.
We're going to see if we can catch this maybe from the entry to turn 3 as they came down the back chute. Here they come. We might have to go to the back stretch as here comes the smoke. Oy. And everybody going everywhere. All of a sudden, the camera operator just having to pan back and forth because he didn't know where to watch first as everybody kind of scurries back onto the racing surface. Oh, what a world, what a world.
Well, with that puts Cody McCorkle on the pole. Mike McConville's going to be sitting second, Nick Hansen third. That's your top 3.
I'm going to have to apologize in advance, folks. You may have had to watch that in a small screen. Let's see what happens here if I quick run this back. Yeah, that may have been in the small screen. I do apologize, folks. I don't know what in the world that was all about, as it never came back out of the commercial without saying anything. Stuff happens. I'm an amateur. I don't work for NBC. However, when NBC wants to call, I will gladly do this much more professionally.
So while we're still under caution here, let's take a look back at where Parker's running, and looks to be in the 8th place. He's going to have his hands full trying to make his way back up to this field as things get more aggressive here with roughly 43 laps to go.
Yeah, let's see this happen. This happened literally right in front of Parker Retzlaff as he watched them go 3 wide, and wow, whoa. That man should be playing the lottery tonight. Let's run this back right here, and I hate to do this in real time, but this is just this side of incredible. Let's watch this at quarter speed. The wreck breaks out. Here's the 67, makes contact with the 63. Now that puts the 67 just in front of Parker. They all but touch. If they don't, and Parker uses him, like literally uses up the 67 to slide down onto the apron and get out of the line of fire.
Talk about knowing where the edge of your hood is.
Now there's a guy who knows everything about that race car and every inch of it, both in the real world and the sim world.
That's nothing less than impressive.
The lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car, which means that we'll be going back green flag racing as we watch these cars parade on by for the time being. 147 laps in the books. We are now 40 laps to go here in this race at 41 laps to go in this race at Nashville Superspeedway. And folks, the battle hasn't even really begun yet.
You know, as we get prepared to take on this restart, just looking at some of these cars involved in that wreck, Princeton, Wilco, Papano, Minto, Sylvian, they're all going to be one lap down, but they're back out on track. So their nights aren't done yet. They're still fighting for every single spot that they can get.
15 cars on the lead lap. We can see them all the way down through Claude Ferlin. Alex Brinson will be the lucky dog if a quick caution comes out here. Cody McCorkle leads this piece with Mike McConville to his high side. So another JAR TCR 1-2 they go on row 1. Nick Hansen still looking to try to mbop his way up here to the lead. He sits in the inside of row 2 just behind McCorkle. McCorkle drops the hammer and off we go. 40 left to go at Nashville Superspeedway.
Nick Hansen still looking to the inside of Mike McConville. Fighting side by side. Nobody wants to give an inch. As the battle starts to heat up for the 5th place right behind them, Parker shoots low, making it 3 wide.
Parker now putting Ethan Ball in the crosshairs, and Ball is going to try to hold off Parker Retzlaff. We're going to ride along here on the nose of Parker Retzlaff as he goes ahead and tries to strap on the hairnet and serve lunch to Ethan Ball as we work lap 149. Parker's going to take this pretty patiently overall with now 39 laps to go here. And I'm fairly certain that first of all, we know that he knows how to lead. Now we're going to show you how he can pass.
Dennis Mickelson just had an unfortunate event. He got tangled up with 3 other cars and ended up in the infield. We're still staying green at this point.
We'll take a look at that right here as the Rhinelander native. Now I can't even say it with a German accent. It just doesn't feel right. As looks like he went off track. Let's see if we can dial this one up a little bit better here. As Mickelson trying to get himself back underway, getting onto the racing surface. Here he is in the 25, looking to take it 3 wide. He nearly does and just, wow, washes right up into Moynihan in the 53, and Moynihan stays strong in the saddle and sends Mickelson down through the infield.
As we start to head back up front here, Parker's still trying to push it 3 wide as he's only a second behind your leader, Cody McCorkle. Parker's now up to 3rd place, managing it to pass Nick Hansen.
Yeah, he just showed Nick Hansen who's boss here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, as Parker Retzlaff has now got a rocket ship for a Chevrolet as he puts his teammates Mike McConville and Cody McCorkle in the crosshairs. We're going to see if he can catch up with all of this time now. It looks like he's about, let's see, a full second behind McCorkle.
You know, McCorkle's waiting to see that Funkaway Chevy of Parker just to come up as Parker looks to the inside of Mike McConville.
Making the pass is Parker Retzlaff, as now he works to the inside of Mikey Mack. Mikey Mack from Cape May, New Jersey, holding on to 3rd position for dear life. He doesn't want to fall into the clutches of Nick Hansen, but right now Parker Retzlaff is on a tear working his way back toward the lead.
Now that gap is just at 1 second. Parker is coming. Can Cody McCorkle hold him off?
No, he can't. Sammy Davis Jr. once had a TV show saying, "Yes, I can," and I just wrote him a letter and said, "No, you can't."
That last lap, Parker was a 10th faster than Cody.
We're going to watch some of that time delta here, as we can see Parker Retzlaff now starting to close in lap by lap on Cody McCorkle as McCorkle leads him, crossing the start-finish line here on 155. Parker 0.3 of a second faster than McCorkle that time by.
You know, looking through the field at this point, everybody's single file just trying to make it to the end of this thing while your top 5 battle it out.
You can see the biggest gap between Retzlaff and McCorkle here on the right-hand side of your screen, and we can see that just tearing itself down lap by lap as they come across the line. Let's see what it does this time on 155. Oh my, we're having some fun now.
Parker's there. This is the lap.
Yeah, he's going to catch some of that draft coming off of the rear spoiler of the 78 of McCorkle. And wow, gets a run on turn 3 entry. He absolutely just buried that thing into turn 3. They go side by side out of 4, crossing the line, and now McCorkle having to hold off McConville, but Retzlaff obviously 0.2 of a second faster than McCorkle that time.
Man, Parker's put in the work. He's managed to drive his way back through this field without damaging his nose at all.
I mean, there's a reason that he gets paid to do this, and we get, peanuts here on the sidelines.
It's a privilege watching him race. It's there's a lot that we can definitely learn from it.
Matt Mackin here in the 01 in the middle of a hornet's nest. He's got Aaron Mack on the high side. We can see Aaron Mack now. That's a lap car there, running for 23rd. So this isn't for position, but Matt Mackin now works to the inside of the 06 Oxmoor machine of Gabriel Lafreniere. They come down the backstretch and into turn 3, neck and neck, as it looks like Lafreniere going to have the edge coming into 3, but Mackin able to roll here on exit, and he's going to have the run on exit.
Ooh, Mackin's getting put 3 wide in the middle.
That's a Mackin sandwich right now, and he's the meat.
That apron will do a lot of damage to a car. It'll slow it down, especially with a different pavement surface. Ken Ron in the 33 car, he's come back from a lot of adversity. He's back up to the 12th position. He's having a good night after being spun earlier in the race.
Yeah, Ken Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, out toward our state capital in Harrisburg. Whoa! Watch the 31 of Aaron Mack just get all kinds of loose. My God. Let's see if we can get that replayed real fast here. Here's Aaron Mack just getting all kinds of loose, but he manages to recover it and now goes high here on the racetrack to stay out of the way.
That is a major save.
Daniel Moynihan right now running in P7 just underneath Brockton Packard in the 63, as Packard has now come up to try to take away that 7th position from Moynihan. As he and Moynihan go side by side down the front stretch into turn 3, it looks like Moynihan is going to have the edge here coming into 3. Andrew Deemer now passing Josh Mertens for 27th position. Chris Claude passing Timothy Cook. He's back out on the racetrack for P31. So, Claude trying to get as many laps as he can in. It looks like he may still have an advantage to try to get around Kavaja Holt if he makes up those laps. So Chris Claude still out here trying to click off those laps and gather those points which, is literally how Chris runs his race, and how he gathers up those points. He literally picks up what everybody has laid down.
With 24 laps to go, Ethan Ball's trying to get past Nick Hansen for 4th place. They're fighting lap traffic. This is going to be one battle to watch.
Yeah, as we go on board here with Ethan Ball, we're going to ride along and just see what he's going to try to do to get around Nick Hansen as the quitting time tour number 99 leads him and gets a run into turn 1. Now it looks like Ethan Ball out of Princeton, West Virginia, going to try to slide his way back up the racetrack and down the backstretch. These cars don't have a 5th gear like the Cup cars, so he's going to have to really muscle this thing here with higher RPMs into turn 3 and try to make some hay coming out of 4.
And Ron is still trying to go to war with Matt Mackin for 10th place. They're starting to develop battles all over the track.
Some of them are hot and heavy, but a few of these things have really cooled off. I see a lot of red and orange on the old timing screen, but there's a lot more white and yellow starting to build in as things get more strung out than a line at a methadone clinic as we work lap 165 of 188.
Now, as we approach these last 20 laps of this race, are you expecting anything, like any pitting? I'm seeing that the leader last pitted at 139.
Yeah, Parker Retzlaff came in on 139. Let's take a look at the pit strategies for everybody here. Everybody pretty much on the same tire wear, 26 laps. That really does put everybody in that 47-lap pit window that I had talked about earlier on in this race. So I think we're going to see most everybody stay out. I would assume that none of these drivers have any tires left on pit road with just having started with 4 total. So even Ken Ron, as he works his way on by the 38 of Andrew Deemer, most of these drivers have now made their bed and it's time to lay in it.
And as we say that, the 06 of Gabriel is just coming out of pit road going 1 lap down.
There's always one.
Never fails.
Gabriel was down on pit road for 14.9 seconds, so that's a full tank of gas and 4 tires, that's for sure. As Parker Retzlaff leads this piece, I'd be curious to see whether or not, Gabriel has what it takes now. As he slides back here into 18th position, that's a lot of real estate that he gave up for 4 tires and fuel.
If you're sitting right at that back, it may help him pick up a couple of spots here. I mean, looking through the list, a lot of people pitted lap 138, lap 144. If he can climb his way back, it may be a pretty good move.
Well, it's going to be a long and hard battle if he thinks that that's what he's going to do. Otherwise, he came down out of pure necessity. Parker Retzlaff gapping Cody McCorkle by 3 1/4 seconds, now 3.3. Mike McConville trying to close in on McCorkle, but McCorkle really has his number. So really you can throw a blanket over that top 3. Nick Hansen trying to claw his way up in there. But I don't know if he's got what it takes, and I don't think Mike McConville is worried about falling into the clutches of Nick Hansen.
No, at this point I think they're just trying to ride and get to the end here, and a spot on the podium is better than a spot outside of it.
$19 laps to go from Nashville Superspeedway. Folks, we want to thank you for tuning in with us here on the youtube.com live chat. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Dave Regal and Matt Moniak here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as Matt is on his maiden voyage here with me in the broadcast booth tonight. And I'll tell you what, this young man here has brought his A game, and we can only expect greater things from him. So thank you for coming along for the ride tonight, Matt. It has been a blast so far, and we are still 17 laps to go. And this thing isn't over, as all of a sudden the 07 of Corey Burkett tried to challenge our race leader to keep him behind him, but obviously right now Parker Retzlaff is no match for anyone as Mike McConville now starts to close in on Cody McCorkle by 0.2 of a second.
And yes, you have that battle for second and third, but that battle for fourth and fifth is heating up. Ethan Ball is really starting to put the screws to Nick Hansen.
"16 laps to go now at Nashville Superspeedway." Of course, we're just on the other side of town from the Nashville Fairgrounds, where, of course, a much smaller track. But, you know, tonight we have seen all kinds of excitement. I mean, Parker Retzlaff now with 3 wins in this series. His first came at the Toyota Care 250 at Richmond Raceway back on April 1st. Then, of course, he just won the last 2 weeks at Iowa and New Hampshire. And even as the racetracks are getting longer here with Nashville, next week we head on up to the Windy City, Chicago, and we're going to go street course racing. And I am curious to see what 50 laps at the Chicago street course looks like next week.
You know, if I was a driver, you might as well just put a blindfold on, because, you know, you're going to have to trust your spotter more than anybody else.
Everybody knows that yours truly is not a big fan of the road courses, or in this case a street course, but I will put up with it because that's what the guys want here. Then, of course, after Chicago, we come here to the Keystone State and go to Pocono Raceway. And I'll tell you what, I love me some Pocono racing. And, you know, of course, I'm a little upset that we only get one a year now up at Long Pond. But for lack of a better term, it is what it is, and that's just kind of what NASCAR has decided to do. And I'm not really sure if I'm happy about it.
You know, Pocono is a great track. I'm curious to see what NASCAR has up their sleeve for changing some of these tracks out that may have 2 dates. You know, is it really a step up, or are you losing ground? But, you know, as for losing ground, Mike McConville is losing just a little bit to Nick Hansen and Ethan Ball as they start to catch him.
Yeah, McConville's starting to lose ground on Cody McCorkle, 4/10 of a second, and he is slowly but surely starting to fall into the hands of Nick Hansen, as Hansen gets a run now on McConville here in turn 1, and on exit of 2, he is going to use all of that momentum and try to use up Mike McConville, and suddenly McConville falls out of podium contention for the time being, as they are side by side coming through 3 and 4. Nick Hansen still trying to get a door handle onto McConville to slow him down. I don't think Hansen has what it takes, but he is going to throw everything he's got in the kitchen sink at Mike McConville.
Ethan Ball checked up for Nick Hansen there when he broke loose. Ethan Ball, his patience is going to wear thin. We're not done yet. I'm thinking that Ball's going to get around Hansen and potentially challenge McConville for a podium spot.
Nick Hansen running in P4 right now behind Mike McConville as they run Retzlaff, McCorkle, McConville. So Retzlaff and a pair of Micks just behind him make up your podium. 10 laps to go at Nashville.
Their battle for the third position is starting to calm down a little bit, as each car has got about roughly 2 car lengths.
Things starting to come together in that final picture, coming more into focus than ever before, as we're 9 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. This has just been an incredible race from start to finish, as things have finally calmed down and we get that long green flag run that we had in the beginning of this race, you know, back on in stage 1, and now here in stage 3 they have done the same thing and really diced things up. It's made the racing that much more interesting to watch because, you know, all of a sudden we have Ethan Ball chasing down Nick Hansen, who's after Mike McConville, and it's almost like, you know, the more that Hansen is trying to hold off Ball, the more chances that McConville has, as they literally have to work through lap traffic and battle it out on 2 different fronts on this track.
Throw a blanket over him. Ball is there. Ball's there to make it interesting. Hansen's a half card back. Ball's going to try the high side here.
McConville's going to have to find another gear here in the 1 to stay ahead of Hansen, because Hansen is about to dig his way onto the podium, and it looks like McConville is doing everything he can as we look here from the rear bumper back at Hansen. He's doing everything he possibly can to block Hansen from getting around him.
You know, if I was Ball, I'm not sure if I would let my tires cool down and try to get one more good run at them, or just leave everything on the table right here, right now.
Well, you certainly can't say that any of these drivers is leaving anything for guesses. I mean, they're definitely putting everything on the field tonight as they work with now 6 laps to go. I mean, you know, they're at a point where, quite frankly, I don't think any of them is going to regret what they've done out here on the racetrack.
No, this race went through a little bit of a rough patch, but balls to the inside. Balls up to the court, or up to the fender of Nick Hansen. Can he make it stick?
This is good news for McConville as he watches them go at it behind him. That's going to slow those 2 drivers down and allow McConville to try to pull away from them, putting as much distance as he can between himself and Nick Hansen in that P4 spot. So, you know, right now McConville's looking in the rearview mirror saying, go ahead, go at it, you take it, because he is more than happy to drive away.
You know, and is lap traffic going to become a factor here in this battle for the last podium spot?
I got to be honest, I really don't think so as we ride on board here with Parker Retzlaff. I mean, you know, Parker's got a couple of lap cars in front of him. I don't really think he wants to get aggressive with him. He's got 6 seconds back to McCorkle, and I don't think McCorkle or McConville really have what it takes to go after Parker here, as he's ready to put in for his 3-peat as we get ready to throw our hats into the ring for the hat trick, so to speak, in the Xfinity Series, as Parker Retzlaff works now with 3 laps to go.
Nick Hansen's still able to hold off Ethan Ball on the high side as he's working out at turn 2. They're still side by side as they battle. Ethan Ball has managed to pass Nick Hansen. Will he set his sights on Mike McConville? Will he have enough time as we approach 2 to go?
Well, the popsicle sticks are in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Mike McConville running away from Ethan Ball 0.3 of a second now as Parker Retzlaff leads the way here. He is the Pied Piper of Nashville Superspeedway. He only missed leading a couple of laps, and that was because of, you know, pit stops and things like that. But Parker Retzlaff comes out of turn number 4 back toward the start-finish line. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers.
Your battle for third has calmed down quite a bit as Mike McConville has managed to increase the gap between him and Ethan Ball. Ethan Ball drives it hard, breaks it loose off of 2. He's going to try to look inside on turn 3. And
Ethan Ball doing his best. Here he comes trying to make the pass as Parker Retzlaff captures the checkered flag. This race isn't over, though, for P3 as Mike McConville holds off Ethan Ball. Crossing the start-finish line, it's going to go Retzlaff, McCorkle, and McConville. A 1-2-3 for the JAR TCR stable here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series live at Nashville Superspeedway.
Wow. Talk about an ending. 3 cars battling for third. That's a good race right there.
Hey, these guys don't screw around, that's for sure. As Parker Retzlaff comes back here onto the front stretch, he is going to burn the house down in the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet. As we're going to get Cody McCorkle, Mike McConville, and Parker Retzlaff down into our broadcast waiting room. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, as this has just been an incredible finish. In fact, most of the JR TCR stable has been battling it out here tonight. As here's Mike McConville moving him on over.
Okay.
And with us now in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, our race winner here at Nashville Superspeedway, Parker Retzlaff. Welcome to the land of the three-peat, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that was I kind of messed up there, and I took auto fuel, and I didn't know if I was going to make the end of the race, so I decided I was going to, seeing there was only 16 cars still in lead lap, so I decided I was going to pit and hope that I could get back to the lead, and good thing the Funko Chevy was fast enough to get back to the lead.
Buddy, I'm telling you right now, after that wreck that happened literally in front of your nose, I think you need to run out right now and play the lottery because you are the luckiest man on this racetrack just for avoiding that mess.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening a little bit off turn 2, and I just tried to stay as low as I could to avoid the spinning cars. And I, after that yellow, I ended up being 8th there, and I kind of felt a little bit better about what spot I was in.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you showed everybody who's boss tonight, and you showed everybody why it is that you get to do this in real life and why some of us get to do it in gym shorts and a T-shirt on a Monday. I mean, listen, you had the 5 car dialed in tonight. What was your secret sauce for, getting here into victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, such a good car that I put together and we put together. So I have to thank them and Funko for everything they do for me, and I'll be back next week.
All right, buddy, listen, before we cut you loose, besides Funkaway, who else do you need to tip your helmet to, and who helped you get it done tonight on the 5?
I mean, just everyone who supports my racing. I know that Kyle's watching, and my parents and everybody who supports me.
All right, brother, good luck, and we will see you next week at Chicago.
Thank you.
That the voice of Parker Retzlaff, and of course, next but certainly not least, I believe you have him down on pit road. Matt, you should have Cody McCorkle with you.
Cody McCorkle, this is Matthew Moniak up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
You had a pretty solid run with the second place finished. What are your thoughts after the conclusion of this race?
Oh man, it was a fun one, man. Got to battle with my teammates. We all got top 5s there. That's pretty neat. I thought after that first stage we were gonna be in trouble. We fell, got towards the top 5 and then fell back to the end of the top 10 there. Just kind of figured it out through the race, made the right adjustments.
Now, when you're making your run through the pack, what was your preferred line, and why did you actually go with that line as you're working your way through traffic tonight?
Let's see. I'd say the top was okay, but I really wanted to be on that bottom, kind of wrap it around that white line. I felt like if you could get it to stick, you got a lot of momentum. Definitely helped save the tires as well.
We definitely hear you there. On those last couple laps, I know you're seeing some of these cars get a little bit bigger in your mirror. Mike McConville, Ethan Ball, Nick Hansen. What was it that made you be able to hold them off?
Well, I'd say, yeah, we all had similar cars. That probably helped a little bit too. But, I think I did a really good job there saving the tires. Something I didn't do better early in the race. Just, as the race went along, kind of figured out what I was doing there. Got a little bit better at it. And I think me and Mike were pretty even there at the end.
Do you have anybody you'd like to thank for, who helps you to get here on a weekly basis, or any fans out there you'd like to give a shout out to?
Huge shout out to the Jar TCR guys, just bringing great cars. Sweat the top 5, that's insane. What a good run. Huge shout out to you guys too for what y'all are doing.
Oh, we definitely appreciate that. Congratulations on your second place finish, and we'll let you go hang out and celebrate with your crew.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for that, as we're going to move him back on into the... there it goes. As we're going to move him back on down. But last but certainly not least on our podium, Mikey Mack out of South Jersey. Hey, Mike, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave. How we doing, man?
Man, we're good here. But once again, you guys from the JRTCR stable have absolutely put on a clinic tonight.
That's right, man. We are the team to beat. And Parker's the man to beat on the team.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys threw everything that you had in the kitchen sink to him and still couldn't, hold him off.
That man's got some raw talent. I can see why he's where he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, it was a hard-fought battle tonight, 188 laps. The cautions kind of came a little crazy, at the end of stage 1, beginning of stage 2, but everything kind of calmed down. What kind of action were you seeing around you, and what could have been better tonight, to try to keep things clean?
Honestly, around me, there was not much. There was a lot of clean racing up in the top 5, top 10. For once, finally, I didn't see much of the back of the field any tonight, which was real nice. I should tend to stay up front a little bit more in these races.
All right, man. Well, listen, it's been an incredible night for you guys. It's been a long night. And before we cut you loose, as always, who helps you get it done here on the One Team?
First off, I got to thank everyone at the TCR shop. Man, love everyone from Nick, Ethan, Keith, Trent, who unfortunately wasn't here tonight, Brockton, Dennis, Parker. Love all those guys. We're all the reason we all have picked up our game. We all want to beat each other. I want to thank you guys for always putting on a great broadcast. Can't wait to go back and see what the final stage was like. It looked like it was real fun hearing from some of the guys that were back there. I want to thank the sponsor that came on board, Produce Place. If you ever need fresh sandwiches, come on by, North Cape, Maine, New Jersey, across the street from the Wawa. And we're not like Wawa or Subway. We don't no shortcuts here. If you want a pound sandwich, we'll give you a whole pound.
My man, listen, it's still on my list for the summer to get down there to North Cape May and check out the produce stand, because I'm all in on it, man.
Yes, sir. Just, hey, let me know, and I'll give you a little extra.
My man, pots and pans. All right, brother, listen, we'll see you next week at Chicago.
Appreciate you. See you next week, brother.
Well, Matt, for your first run here out in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, you got to see a barn burner at Nashville Superspeedway.
I couldn't have asked for a better race. I mean, we had our ups, we had our downs, but talk about an ending.
Yeah, this ending was incredible. And speaking of the ending, before we get out of here, we want to take one final look at our results from tonight. Parker Retzlaff captures the checkered flag here at Nashville Superspeedway. He's followed by Cody McCorkle and Mike McConville on the old podium there. Ethan Ball and Nick Hansen round out the top 5, while Sam Bolin and Daniel Moynihan finish 6th and 7th. Brockton Packard, Keith Black, and Ken Ron round out the rest of your top 10, as Dennis Mickelson comes home in 11th. Matt Mackin finishes 12th, with Alex Princeton in 13th. 14th position goes to John Wilco from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, and he'll be joined by Gabriel Lafreniere in 15th position. Eric Papineau finishes in 16th position, with Claude Ferlin and Eugenio Alonso in 17th and 18th. John Bawalda finishes in 19th, with the top 20 being rounded out by Sylvain Joly. Brandon Minto, Corey Burkett, Aaron Mack, Ron Fitting, and Chris Custer finish 21st through 25th, while Andrew Deemer and Josh Mertens come home 26th and 27th. John Crow Sr., Richard Pruitt, and Kavaja Holt make up the 30, as Chris Claude, Timothy Cook, Michael Pilardi, Steve Herring, Mason Hoffner, and Will Young make up the 36 drivers who took the green flag tonight here at Nashville Superspeedway. And what a fantastic competition it was tonight in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. And for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Matt Moniak, we want to thank you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Beautiful. I've got to slide over in the our SRM chat, because I know Alan's wanting me in his office. Thanks. I appreciate it. It was fun sitting alongside you for that one. Sounds good. I appreciate it. Later.